You have clicked on this video for one of two reasons. One, you're interested in some plot hooks that you could use for your Forgotten Realms game. Or two, you hate the Forgotten Realms. You're interested in what I have to say only so you can write about it in the comments below. Here's 8 plot hooks that you can use for a Forgotten Realms game. Hey everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent, and I make videos on Forgotten Realms lore, and in a lot of my videos at the very end, and so I don't think a lot of people catch it unless they watch all the way to the end, at the very end I do say, hey, wouldn't this be cool to run an entire campaign with? Or hey, wouldn't this item be useful in said campaign? Or isn't this an interesting something or other? My goal with this is to help dungeon masters run games in the realms, but really run any game, because these plot hooks can be used in any circumstance. You can mold and shape them or just be inspired by them for your own game, Forgotten Realms or not. That being said, I've done a lot with the Forgotten Realms, and I thought in this video I would offer 8 plot hooks that you can use today in the Forgotten Realms. Let's get started. Now, if these were in any particular order, which they're not, I definitely wouldn't be saving the best for last, which I am. With that, let's dive in to number... Wait, should I go 1 to 8? Or I'm going to go 1 to 8. Usually you count down, right? But this isn't a top 10. These are just 8. So the first one. Now, this first one takes place in the Moonshae Isles. It is the Isle of Snowdown, which is controlled by a vampire named Lady Ilsa Darasin. I'm really good with the names. She is loyal to Am. Now, the hook here is on the Moonshae Isles, there is a gigantic threat of a monster running around. His name is Khazgoroth. I've talked about him in previous videos. Khazgoroth is a large T-Rex-like creature that is linked to the deity Malar and is a manifestation of hunting and bloodshed. Why he's come about and what your party is going to do with his divine presence is the adventure. This next adventure takes place in Thay, specifically Thay Mount. Now, radicals and Thay are trying to release a demon that is buried below Thay Mount named Eltab. Eltab has been trapped there for centuries, and a new group within Thay Mount, wants to release Eltab because the sheer destruction will hopefully overthrow the Red Wizards, or at least throw them into chaos and allow a new government to form. Now, the hook is the Red Wizards have hired you to find this radical group, these quote-unquote terrorists, before they can destroy Thay Mount and overthrow the government. You, the players, need to decide, do we keep law and order even though it's oppressive, or do we keep this radical fire burning even though it could destroy the entire city and kill thousands of people? Who do you assist? Number 3 is Castle Perilous. So many decades ago, a lich raised a castle using the powers from the Abyss and his Dark Lord Orcus. So the lich was overthrown, but his castle remained, and it has been a place for adventurers to test their bravery for some time, seeking magical relics that belong to the lich. However, a recent earthquake fell some of the stone structure to reveal a smooth black stone underneath. Is the castle regenerating? Is the castle somehow linked to the Abyss? Your hook is that nearby areas have sent scouts in with nobody to return, and the local government needs information to know if they have to evacuate the surrounding areas, or are they safe? Your job is to find out how much danger they're in. They'll pay handsomely, and you'll get to keep whatever magical artifacts you find. Number 4, the Sea of Fallen Stars. Here, a glyph-scribed obelisk hovers over the surface and seems to teleport or move to different areas, and it's wrapped in a large, foggy, electrical storm of awesome. This place is called Xifu, and whenever Xifu appears along the coast, Kuatoa rise up out of the water, attack the seaside villages, and drag prisoners back into the ocean. It is rumored that Xifu is a home to aboleths from the Far Realm, and that they are converting these people to some weird experimental something or other. you have lost a family member and you must go and retrieve them. I feel like I didn't explain that well, but like literally a teleporting cloud of death with an obelisk city in the center of abelisks floating all over the Sea of Fallen Stars. You got to chase it. You got to find it. You got to get through the cloud. I mean, I want to play that. Number 5, this one stolen from a book, but you could still use it. That is the beauty of dungeon mastering. Ebon Soul, who was a powerful lich, was being transported from Chandlewood across the Sea of Fallen Stars, but his ship mysteriously sank, and now he is at the bottom of the ocean with his giant ship. The shipwreck is interesting because it not only contains Ebon Soul, who's in his mirror-like coffin, but also all of the magical relics from his lair. The hook is a simple one. An adventuring company has hired you and your party to explore this area and come back with whatever magical trinkets you can, and if possible, the coffin of Ebon Soul. Now, like the subhook for this in the longer run is, why do they want the coffin? Are you just interested in money? Is Ebon Soul still alive? Well, he's undead. Man, I gotta think this. I mean, undeath, but he's I don't know. Number 6, Sembia and the Ordulian Maelstrom. Once the capital of Sembia, Ordulian was consumed in a planar rift. The area is now a city-sized black whirlpool of energy from the Shadowfell. Hanging above it is a floating earth moat with a citadel seemingly from the Shadowfell. A cult of wizards are trying to recreate the Shadow Weave and break their reliance on Mystra, the goddess of magic. This would be a good one if you're a group of wizards that are maybe some clerics of Mystra that are here to stop Shar from recreating the Shadow Weave in some sense. Number 7, this is in Durpar, and it is a location called Adama's Tooth, which is a natural vertical monolith located near and between Giant's Belt Mountains and the Dust Walls. It's 2,000 feet tall and rumored that the structure was raised by ancient Imaskari wizards from long ago. Its purpose is lost to history. However, a mining company started extracting ore from beneath the monolith, and the miners discovered a great magical seal. When disturbed, a curse spread forth and killed many. Now a cloud of darkness hangs over the entire area. Most locals are too scared to go near. There might be great wealth and understanding of ancient magic if you could get to the core. The hook is your curiosity. You're all money-grubbing people, but if you really needed some kind of other hook, maybe the dwarf miner really needs to understand why his brother has gone crazy from, the bad magics. And last but certainly not least, number 8, the final plot hook of this video, Chisenta and Entropy. Way back when Ao banished the primordials from Abir, he imprisoned one of them in Toril. This primordial was known as Entropy and was kept inside a sphere of annihilation. And this was supposed to be a reminder to the gods, a very vicious and wicked reminder, that they could also be destroyed and annihilated like Entropy. But Entropy wasn't destroyed and is inside this sphere of annihilation, somehow still alive and now able to communicate. Whispers have been heard from this giant sphere of annihilation within Chisenta, and it's growing. There is now a cult, and people are worshiping the sphere and somehow getting magical spells from that worship. So this primordial is still alive in some sense. The hook is the cult of Entropy is growing, and there is a sphere of annihilation that is slowly going to consume maybe the whole planet. I don't know how to break this to you, but you and your fellow players, you live here, and you probably don't want your planet to be enveloped into nothing. Will it devour a city, a region, or the entire continent? We don't know. It's up to you and your players to stop that. So now we've come towards the end of the video, and I wanted to promise you some resources. If you are playing a game in the Forgotten Realms, I'm going to give you 2 resources that I think, well, 3 resources that I think would be really awesome for you, and you should definitely check out. One of them, ironically, Storm King's Thunder. It is an adventure path that Wizards of the Coast came out with for 5th edition, and ignore the entire story, unless you want to play it. It's a fun story, but ignore the entire story. There's a section in there that has a big open area of the Sword Coast, and you can go there, pick an area, and it's got possible encounters, people you can meet, NPCs, various things. It's a really good resource if you're running a Forgotten Realms game, specifically like a Sword Coast Faerun game. And I would use this if your players were, let's say, you were playing Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus and they weren't ready to go to hell yet. They could still run a lot of these little side quests. It's a lot of fun. Secondly, the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, I do not recommend. If you are a lore nut like me, it's a lot of fun, but that was the 5th edition equivalent and didn't provide us the same information as previous campaign guides. So specifically, I want you to look at the 4th edition Forgotten Realms campaign guide. This lists out the entire area, and you can flip through it and find a very specific location, and it'll give you not only information on that location, but it will give you the happenings and various plot hooks. It's an incredible resource. Your players can teleport, they can hitch rides, they can go by caravan, for all I care, to anywhere in the Forgotten Realms, anywhere in Faerun. And they're able to have an adventure there. Lots of cool stuff. This is the sandbox adventure that I wanted for 5th edition Forgotten Realms. I will say it is dated with spell plague problems, but if you are okay with that, do check it out. There are other fun books on the Forgotten Realms. I'm sure you can do a Google search and find a whole bunch of them. Sea of Fallen Stars is a good one if you're interested in the world around the Sea of Fallen Stars. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing this video with your fellow Dungeon Masters. I do make videos every Wednesday, but sometimes there is the surprise video, so please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And thank you so much for being here. I will see you all in the next video.